All right, ladies, today I'm gonna do a video and I'm gonna tell y'all the biggest reason why men aren't romantic anymore. So ladies, if you guys are wondering why you're struggling to find a man that's romantic and taking you out and planning good dates, I'm gonna discuss to you the biggest reason why that is in 2026. So this could be very informative, so y'all want to stick to the end to listen to what I have to say. See y'all soon. So the reality, y'all, a lot of the ladies out here that are on my channel, or just in general, a lot of y'all have one of the biggest complaints. The biggest complaint is that men don't know how to plan dates, or men don't know how to be romantic and take women out on good dates. So I'm gonna tell y'all the biggest reason why that is. The biggest reason why that is it comes down to finances. I think there's a ton of men that have the romantic capability in their minds and their brain, but it costs money. And I know a lot of ladies are going to say, oh, well, you don't need to spend money to be romantic. But you basically kind of do. You know what I mean? Like, you need to spend money to be romantic, right? So even if it's something simple, like buying a woman flowers, or, you know, going to the store and buying her a card, or buying her chocolate, or buying her a bear, doing something like that, right? Nice gestures, but it costs money. You're still spending money, right? Like, if you want to plan a really romantic date, maybe you want to take her to a 5-star restaurant. Maybe you want to take her to like a yacht party, or maybe you want to take her on a cruise. You know, maybe you want to do something very extravagant as a guy. Maybe you want to take your lady to do all these fun, cool things. All of this costs money. Back in the day, as everyone knows, it's easier to afford. It's easy to afford living, and it's easier to have a livable wage. You got to understand something. Like for me, for example, I have rent. I work a decent job. I have to pay my bills, pay my phone bill, pay my PG&E, gotta pay my car payment, I gotta pay my car insurance, I gotta pay, you know, everything, all this, my gym bill. So I'm paying a ton of things, right? Most men, we have a job where we make it and we have a little bit of money extra on the side. So like, let's say if we want to go on a date, we have a little bit of extra money to, you know, once in a while go on a nice date, or once in a while buy our girl some things, right? So we use that on that, you know, those little times that we have. But we don't have money in excess to every time we are going out to be planning extravagant, cool, romantic dates, because like I said, at the end of the day, it all comes down to money. There's a lot of men that I talk to and say, well, you know, a lot of women, I want to take them out, but like my idea of romantic isn't good enough. Like just getting like a regular good dinner meal, like maybe at an Applebee's, isn't romantic enough. And it's like, it should be enough. If you're enjoying your time with a man and he's planning something, and let's say it's not necessarily a 5-star restaurant or something extravagant, you know, if you're really enjoying the person, then it really shouldn't matter. It's like, I feel like a lot of times there are some things you can do that aren't expensive per se, but there's not really many things that you can really do. Like there's a lot of things that guys can do, for example, that are really relatively expensive. Like you can write a homemade card, or maybe you can write her a poem, or maybe you can write her a letter. You know what I mean? You can get creative, right? And you can do a lot of these things, right, to be romantic. But most of the time, being romantic costs a lot of money. It costs you spending a lot more money than you're making. I think that a lot of men, it's not that they don't want to be romantic. I don't think they have the financial means to be romantic. I know I'm a perfect example. There's a lot of times that I've gone on dates and I'm thinking, wow, I would love to do something cool or extravagant, you know, but I'm thinking, do I have the financial means to do it? No. Like, do I have the financial means to obviously take her on a date, like a cool date, and just get to know her? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, do I have that kind of money? Yeah, sure. Right? But I don't have enough money, like, to spend $200 on a date, or $300 on a date to like really show my romance, because I still have to worry about my life, my rent, my bills, you know, all these other things that are going on in my life. I still have to pay, and I still have to take care of these responsibilities because I'm a grown-ass man. And unfortunately, in this society, in this current landscape, most men just financially cannot afford to be extravagant and plan all these great things that are uberly expensive that one would desire for men. You know what I mean? Most of us, we can do what we can. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, like I said earlier, we can take a woman out on a nice date. We can take her out. We can treat her good and do something romantic. But it's not something that we can consistently do on a daily basis for 99% of us. So my whole view on this, why men aren't romantic, to sum it up, ladies, is I think that 80% of men that aren't romantic is not because they don't want to be romantic. I think their financial situation is getting in their way because I feel like they just can't financially afford to do a lot of things that you seem very romantic, because everything in this life costs money. I hate to say it, everything in this life costs money, but unfortunately 99% of us, we're just barely making and we're barely getting by, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. Now, are there some men that just aren't romantic? Yes, there's a lot of men that just don't get the hint, don't give a clue, and they just give you the bare minimum, ladies. I'm not gonna lie, there are men like that, but I would say a bulk of men are romantic. I just think that, you know, it's hard to be able to live, take care of your bills and responsibilities as a man, and still have $300-$400 sometimes on a nice date. Like, if you want to take a woman out, like I said, to a nice restaurant, maybe you want to go and buy her drinks, you know, maybe you want to, you know, get all fancy, maybe you want to go take her to a live show, like a live theater show, right? Let's say you do all that, right? That might rent a man $500, $600, right? Sure, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna say, wow, this guy planned out the date, wow, this is great, you know what I mean? All these great things, right? But at the end of the day, that might cost a man $600 or $700. You know what I mean? Most men, we can't afford that. You know what I mean? So if a man is even thinking about something like that, he's kind of like, well, I can't do that. I can't afford it. So anyways, y'all, I know I'm gonna get a lot of pushback and flack on that, but it's just the real honest truth. I think a lot of men are romantic. I just think that it's just very hard to financially afford to do very extravagant things to be romantic these days. So anyways, y'all, man, if y'all agree with what I'm saying, please like, subscribe, and comment, and tell me your experiences in the comments below. And the ladies, you disagree with my takes, please tell me why, and I would love to know. I would love all your feedback. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get up out of here, but this has been your boy Tyreek, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.